Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us on today's webinar where we're going to be looking at 2N and more specifically the education vertical. So what sort of product you'd ideally use in an education vertical, but also more of an intro to 2N. I suppose this as well is a start of a webinar series we're going to be doing where we're going to be looking at a number of different verticals over the coming months. So on the agenda today, as I said, we're going to have an intro to 2N and how they can help, a little bit about the company itself. We'll have a look at some products, so the main categories, the main product overview essentially. We'll have a look at a case study for the education sector, and then towards the end, some key products for the education vertical, what we'd recommend and what we commonly see in those in that vertical. And then of course the Q&A section at the end, so get your questions in. You should have a little chat box on the right hand side of your screen. I think there's a question and a chat box, so whichever you prefer, and we'll take a look at those at the end. So I'll pass on to Chris, who's also on the call with us, who's going to take us through this section about an intro to 2N.
Thanks, Jason. Try to keep it quick today. Thanks for everyone for joining. 2N, we are a global company. We're part of Canon, who you may know for cameras or printers. They're the head of 2N, or they own us in the big scheme of things. 31 billion revenue if you're interested. Axis is our parent company. They bought 2N in 2016, but they're 1.6 billion of revenue. So a very big company. They're known for network cameras, CCTV cameras. You can see in airports, casinos, high security places like that. And then you have 2N. We're based in Czech Republic. That's where I'm sat at now. 20 degrees and sunny, beautiful day to trot around Czech Republic or sit in the 2N office and present a nice webinar. Yeah, over 500 employees and growing, 5 years warranty standard in all of our products. Half of the company are developers. So we are a hardware manufacturer, but also software and product features are what our developers are doing. And then 13% of revenue back into R&D, research and development, which might not mean anything, but to benchmark Apple, one of the biggest companies, is around 6 or 7. So we take pride in being almost double what Apple reinvests. This is quick. This is our team. This is our UK team. You have me in Czech Republic. I'm supporting these 6 or 7 guys in the field. Up north is Michael Nicholson in Manchester. We have a pre-sales A&E manager in St. Albans, Glenn's in the Midlands, Dan Bacon is in Cardiff, along with Adrian, our pre-sales technician, who started a few months ago, also in Cardiff, and then Mabs is in Greenwich in central London. And I'd like to put these guys on here because they all have one of these, which is our demo kit. This is actually a little bit older one, so they look a lot nicer than this, but it really gives you the full product feature, or the products. You can see the solution. And yeah, what they want to do is come to the ProVu office, meet you there, and show you this, push all the buttons, play with the configurations. So if you're interested in meeting any of these guys, please let's set that up after the webinar. So 2N only sells through distributors. That's why ProVu is on this call. You have 2N, which is manufactured in Czech Republic. Our distributor ProVu, one of the best in Huddersfield. And then they sell the products on to system integrators, resellers, IT, telephony companies, anyone doing network-based stuff. And then that goes on to the end users. End users can never buy direct from ProVu, and they can never buy direct from 2N. And I think I throw it back, or we keep going with innovation and reliability. Yeah, there's other manufacturers on the market that do intercoms, that do access control, but 2N has been doing it for the longest. We were the first to introduce an IP-based, a network-based intercom in 2008. Back in 2008, it was top of the line. You can get it with 1 button, 3 buttons, or 6 buttons. And now come to 2025, we have this 10-inch touchscreen, full HD camera intercom. So come a long way in the past 15 or 18 years, 17 years. R&D, I've mentioned, development and testing. Everything is done in Prague in our headquarters in 2N. We release firmware updates every quarter, every 3, 4, 5 months, or 3 or 4 months, I would say. And that's doing things like bug fixes or cybersecurity patches, anything that we get fed back from the market, and patented technology. Yeah, we have people here creating patents every year. There's one or two that a 2N employee gets recognized for. So always pushing the boundaries. Reliability, we take pride in being the #1 IP intercom manufacturer globally. So around the world, it's something to be very proud of. We're an EU production, EU-based company. Everything is manufactured in Czech Republic. There's 4 or 5 suppliers around Czech Republic that do the different lines of products. And yeah, we're proud of everything being from Europe. That brings the highest cybersecurity standards. That's what our products are known for, is being a security product, not just a doorbell that you push a button that connects to the cloud that can be vulnerable, but these are our lockdown products. And I mentioned Axis earlier, that almost $2 billion company. They force us to follow their standards, their cybersecurity standards. So we're keeping up. $100 million company is keeping up with a $2 billion company. 5-year warranty I've mentioned, and then third-party testing is interesting. So our certifications with dirt and dust and water penetration, it's not something we're doing internally like some other manufacturers might do, but we have third parties do it, so we have no say in what the final result is in those certifications. I believe that's my side. I throw it back to Jason. Try not to
Perfect.
move the
Thanks,
mouse.
Chris. So yeah, so in terms of the product catalog that 2N's got, so we've got intercoms, so pretty box standard. You've got multiple different options, which we'll take a look at on the next slide. Answering units, so you might have on a receptionist desk, or if it's an apartment, you might have those in each apartment. The access control, and then of course there's a lot of different software available, such as My2N or Access Commander, to sort of bring everything together and give you that real, customizability with the products. So in terms of the intercoms, we've got the IP Style, IP Verso 2.0, and the IP Verso. So these are sort of the most popular units, the flagships as well. Interestingly, with the Verso, it's a modular unit. So as you can see with the 2 different pictures, there's one with the keypad, one with the touchscreen display module. So these are all interchangeable. There's RFID, there's Bluetooth readers available, even fingerprint. So you can get the best for your customer. Onto more the single button options, the IP1, which is the newest intercom, and the IP Solo. We've then got things like the IP Force and IP Safety for more industrial units, or which is quite popular in the education sector because it is a really robust unit and a real vandal resistant unit as well. Got a range of different access units. So we've got the access unit 2.0 and the access unit M's, both very similar in terms of functionality, but obviously they look visually different, so might fit different aesthetics, different environments. But yeah, each have a relay inbuilt, so they can open a door and can be an actual standalone unit. Got a number of different options, so your RFID, Bluetooth. We've got combined readers, so you have touch keypad, Bluetooth, and RFID, really everything in one unit, or even a fingerprint reader on the right as well. So there's a range of different answering units. So we've got the indoor touch, the indoor view, indoor compact, and the newest indoor clip, which yeah, these are all the video options for answering units. So you might have these on a receptionist desk, you might have them dotted around the site. As I mentioned before, in an apartment, you could have those, for more of a premium offering for your tenants. Number of different sort of audio options, so the indoor talk and the different handsets. So there's a standard IP handset or the D7A. Now the D7A actually has 2-way video as well with the IP Style, which is quite a nice feature. It's also quite a unique feature. It's not really available anywhere else. So you can see each other from the intercom and then from the phone as well. 2N do also have a number of different audio products. So we've got speakers, we've got horn speakers, so more for outdoor and indoor use, which of course education is going to need. We've then got a 2N mic, which you can have pre-recorded messages, or you can just speak into the microphone and project that across the different speakers that are on site. So I've got a bit of I suppose a diagram here of showing the connection type. So you can see it's got internet coming into a switch that goes to an indoor answering unit, which then goes to the intercom and powers that intercom. So there's not really extensive cabling that's needed for these devices. They are just PoE, which is nice and simple. And chances are your customer might already have that on site. And if not, it's a case of just one PoE connection, which is really, really nice. A couple of different little diagrams here for the different connection types. You can see PoE, but also the inputs and outputs and the relay as well. So one for the intercoms and then the access unit here as well. So I'll hand back over to Chris, who could take us through the case study based in the Czech Republic.
Yeah, so the recent case study hot off the press. I mean, in the UK, we do some famous universities and colleges, maybe you know, or you could probably name, but we can't actually legally name them on this call. So that brings us to Czech Republic, where we can make this one public. And this was a school or a college in the east of Czech Republic. And yeah, they basically went with 2N as the solution. Yeah, no, also in the US, yeah, there's a bunch of schools that use 2N as well. Where we go in though, and why they use 2N, everything was network based, so they had the network in place, they had internet in the building. Thank God the school had internet. But yeah, basically they're using IP versas dotted around the main entrances and then access unit as well internally. This one you can see is in a lift, so I'm supposing they're doing selected floor access. So if I work on the 3rd floor, I scan my badge and I can only go to the 3rd floor. It wouldn't allow me with my badge to go to the 4th floor because that's not somewhere that I work. There's also the software access commander is on-premise software, so it manages all the devices, all the users, all the logs, when someone went in the building. If you have request to exit, it would show you when they left. You can do presence mode as well. So if you have a fire, you could see how many people actually went in the building during the day, and then maybe at your rally point, how many people are outside of the building. Access Unit 2.0, Jason mentioned earlier, just for access cards, fobs, Bluetooth. Advantages, yeah, I mean, security, of course, we've mentioned. All the building entrances are secured with our triple combo, so that gives you a reader that does RFID, PIN, and Bluetooth credentials. So you can allow the users to choose which one to use, or you can even set up something like multi-factor authentication. So they first need to scan their RFID card and then enter 1, 2, 3, 4 after some secret PIN code to enter. So if a student loses their card, their fob, they lose it on the ground. Someone passing by can't just pick it up and enter the building. They need to enter that PIN code as well to get authorized. Only authorized persons are allowed to access the building. Sure, all the logs go into that on-premise software mentioned Access Commander. When someone enters, you can get burst screenshots from the intercom, so you can see their face or their body or their name tag when they came in, and those are included in the logs. And then also, if someone does pick up a card and it's not registered with the intercom, Access Commander can give you the screenshots with false authorizations. And it also gives you a time and photo stamp, so you know what the person looked like. You can give it to the police, etc. And I would just mention as well, our intercoms, the cameras can be streamed to NVRs or databases. You can stream the video recording to another system, another platform. Easy integration, I mentioned fire alarm systems. Sure, you can tie the inputs to a fire alarm. So if a fire alarm goes off, all the doors, all the gates automatically open, which allows for fast evacuation and no one is stuck in the building. Convenience, yeah, it's a convenient system, sure. Students, I guess this site, they required them to use RFID cards only. They had to keep it visible around a badge. So unfortunately, they can't use the Bluetooth because they need those badges visible. But employees, yeah, school employees, they were given both the options to use RFID cards, or they can just use their mobile phone. So whichever is more convenient for them. Even at 2N, our office, I have the same options, and I'm often forgetting my badge at home, but I don't really leave home without my mobile phone. So the Bluetooth credentials are perfect for me. And yeah, Jason, if you want to jump back to the key products, just a quick overview.
So I suppose in terms of what do we see most popular for the education sectors, so the IP Verso is definitely a very, very popular unit. I think because of its customizability, but also the RFID, as Chris sort of talked over on that case study, it's the most convenient and the most really the best way to allow students to use access the access units and Verso. But we've also got things like the Forces, which again can have RFID in them, but just more of a vandal-proof unit. You know, if it might be a particular school that's needed, you know, a bit more resilience, or yeah, just going to be a very long-lasting unit.
Car parks, gates, barriers.
Yeah, car parks. Yeah, it's all you know, more so if a car drives into it, the car's probably going to be more damaged. So it's going to be a long-lasting unit. But yeah, access units really, really popular within education, and also some answering units. Typically, it's going to be on the receptionist desk, you know, in the mornings because who's coming in and out of the building. But also the speakers. So you know, the horn speaker might be for outdoors. You might have a SIP speaker in the corridors, and then a microphone for sort of speaking to everyone on site. But also you could use a phone. So it's not necessarily you need a mic. You could use a phone as well, such as the D7A, and you know, call out to the different speakers. So
make a live announcement. I think the biggest with our speakers is if there's an alarm triggered one of the inputs, then they play some automatic announcement that says please evacuate, or some in the US maybe some threat is going on, something for example like that.
Yeah. So but yeah, all these, I mean, there's not really a right or wrong answer here, because ultimately any of the products could be used, but these are what we most commonly see. And that brings us to the end, really. So the whole idea of these the series we're going to be doing is just short and sweet, but ultimately, you know, come speak to us. We're that's what we're here for. We're here to, you know, help you design the products of the project, and you know, it could be myself, Chris, or any of the guys in the UK, and we can get them to come see you as well. So but if there's any questions, we'll go through those now. Let's have a look.
They can check the chat. These are my predetermined questions. That's when is the next webinar? July 8th. I'm sure ProVu will send out a email blast about that coming up. Will be focused on residential, which 2N is prime for, residential sector, residential vertical, as well as offices, which you may be doing. And where can I install 2N products? I say anywhere there's a network, or any building that has internet, which should be probably 99% of buildings today, I'd imagine.
There is a question here around the project support. So what project support is available? I suppose in terms of the support that's available, I mean, we're more than happy to help in terms of, you know, designing the project with you, getting on any calls, you know, demoing any kit that's needed, but also in terms of the price. So if it's over about 5K, we can get it project registered with 2N and get some additional support to help win the project. But we really want to help. You know, this kit's not always something that everyone's doing daily. So that's where we come in. We really want to help with getting these, you know, being able to offer it more to your customers.
Yeah, I think a lot of your customers are telco or telephony, and we have a lot of success with those companies because they're doing the network, they're doing the PBX, which the intercoms can register to. So yeah, just add value to your portfolio, add more products, and of course make more revenue. I also like when you have a new installer or a new integrator, a new company that's never touched the products. Of course, come meet our guys, but we can also do some half price demo pricing, so you can get your hands on the kit, install it at your office if you want, or just play with it on the test bench. So better than paying full price always.
Yeah, definitely. So I think that was the only question we've got so far.
Yeah. Yeah, we can follow up with an email to see there's a few people in here at least, so we can follow up with an email, and if anyone has something more interested in the project support or reduced rates, then yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good. Well, I think that's probably it for questions then. But we'll be doing the next one, as Chris mentioned, on July 8th. So we'll see you on the next one, hopefully. And in the meantime, any questions, give myself or Chris a call, and we're more than happy to go over the project. So appreciate everyone joining today, and
Cheers,
hopefully
Jason.
that was useful. Cheers, Chris. Thanks for joining.
See you later, guys. Cheers.
See you later. Bye bye.
Bye bye.